You have just completed your Nazi Germany mock exam paper. You're going to use this presentation to go over your answers to the Year 10 mock. You had a full GCSE exam paper to answer. In this presentation you're going to be shown the questions that you answered, the guidance you've been given by your teachers for completing the different types of questions, and some annotated sample answers. You need to annotate your own answers to show what you've done well and highlight areas for improvement. After each question, you need to set yourself a target for improvement. You're reflecting on your own work and working at your own target level. In this presentation, answers that apply to everybody are colour-coded in purple. Work that applies to target grades A, B and C is in red, and work for D, E and F target grades is in green. If you want to watch the work for all target grades, then please feel free to. If you want to skip to the ones that apply to you, then look for the colour that you need. Remember, purple applies to everybody. We'll start off by looking at question number 1. This is the 4-mark source-based question. You were given the source that you can see on the screen and the caption underneath, and the question was, what can you learn from source A about methods used by the Nazis to spread their ideas? This is a 4-mark answer, and to answer this you need to do fact, evidence, inference. So source A tells me that. Take a fact from the source, something that you can find out from it. Evidence to support this is either quote from the caption of the source or describe the picture, what you can see, or you can do both if you want to. And then you need to make an inference. So you can say this suggests, or from this I can infer, or this makes me think. However you want to word it is up to you, as long as you do fact, evidence, inference. 4-mark questions should be able to get 4-mark answers from everybody. So we're only going to look at a 4 out of 4-mark answer. You should all aim to do fact, evidence, inference from a source-based question in the exam. Remember, you're looking for fact, evidence, inference, so let's look at a sample answer. This one says, source A tells me that the Nazi Party used the radio to spread their ideas. There's a clear fact at the start there. It gives a fact from the source. Evidence to support this is, the poster shows a radio with the German people looking at it. It is called the People's Radio. This candidate has described the image and quoted from the caption of the source. So they've given 2 types of evidence there. You can do that, or you can give just one, as long as there is specific, clear evidence, either describing the image or quoting from the source. Then they go on to give us an inference. This suggests that the Nazi Party used new technology to spread their ideas to as many people as possible. The radios could reach a big audience so that a lot of people would know what the Nazis believed. They've made an inference here, and this inference is focused on the question. It's explaining how the Nazis spread their ideas. So we've got clear fact, evidence, inference, focused on the question. Therefore, this would be 4 out of 4 marks. Have a look at your own answer. Have you received 4 out of 4 marks? If you have, highlight why. If you haven't, look at what you need to do to achieve 4 out of 4 next time. Have you taken specific evidence from the source, described it, or quoted from the caption? Have you said what that suggests to you, what that makes you think? Have you started with a fact from the source? Set yourself a target to improve next time. We're going to look at 9-mark questions now. In a moment we'll go through how to answer 9-mark questions, then we'll look at each of the options. You only talk about one of the options you're given. So you will be given 2 boxes with 2 different things. You choose the one you want to write about and you write only about that one. So this question was, the boxes below show actions taken by Stresemann. Choose one and explain how it helped Weimar Germany to recover in the 1920s. In a moment we will go through the first option, which was the introduction of a new currency, the Rentenmark, in 1923. We'll look at the Dawes Plan and the Young Plan in a little while. First of all, what do you need to do to answer 9-mark questions? They're normally explain why or explain how questions, sometimes worded a bit differently, but that's what they're getting at. You need 2 PEA paragraphs to answer this question. You must use 2 paragraphs to show your depth of knowledge. Point evidence analysis. This time the evidence will come from your own knowledge because there's not a source to rely on. Your analysis needs to make sure it answers the question. Okay, so explain how each factor helped the economy to recover. Let's have a look at a target A, B or C grade answer. Here you can clearly see the two paragraphs, and this is the question about the introduction of the Renton mark. Let's have a look at what this candidate's written. Firstly, in the short term, the introduction of the new currency replaced the old currency which had lost all value because of hyperinflation. They've given us a clear point there at the start of the paragraph. They burnt the old currency and introduced a new one. The new one was introduced in limited numbers to stop hyperinflation happening again. There's their evidence to support their point. They then go on to give their analysis. This helped Germany to recover because it ended hyperinflation and gave the German people more confidence in their economy and its money, which in turn made them believe in the Weimar Republic. In their analysis, they've used the wording of the question. They've said this helped Germany to recover because. So they're clearly explaining how the new currency helped Germany to recover, therefore clearly answering the question. Second paragraph says, secondly, in the long term, in introducing the Renton mark, Germany was able to start rebuilding its economy. The Weimar Republic started paying reparations again, which led to the French leaving the Ruhr. This helped Germany to recover because it made other countries more confident in Germany and allowed the Weimar government to borrow money from the USA, the Dawes Plan, and start the golden years. Again, you've got clear point, evidence and analysis there. This second paragraph shows depth in knowledge, and together they would receive 9 out of 9 marks in this question. Have a look at your own answer. Have you given 2 paragraphs? Have you written point, evidence and analysis which answers the question in both paragraphs? Highlight what you've done well, what you need to do to improve. Think about your knowledge. Is your information detailed and accurate? If it's not, then you need to highlight this as one of your areas to focus on in your revision. Let's look at a D, E or F target grade answer now. This candidate has written, in 1923, Weimar Germany went into hyperinflation. They could not afford to pay reparations, so the French invaded the Ruhr. The German workers were asked to go on strike, but the government still had to pay them, so they printed more money. Money became worthless and people were carrying it in wheelbarrows. To try to deal with the problem, Stresemann introduced a new currency called the Renton mark. The old currency was burnt. Only a limited amount of the new money was made so that the money kept its value. This helped Germany to start repaying reparations again, so the French left the Ruhr and the German people could go back to work. This candidate tells us the story of hyperinflation and the Renton mark, so they're describing what happened. They do show us good knowledge of hyperinflation and how the new money helped Germany to recover. So this is focused on the question. They're answering the question they've been asked, explaining what the new money did. If you can describe the new currency like this in detail in the exam, it will get you about 5 out of 9 marks. Look at your own answer. Do you show good knowledge? Have you been able to describe in detail hyperinflation and the Renton mark? If you haven't, then you need to focus on this area in your revision. Have a look at your answer. What have you done well? What could you do in the future to make it better? Okay, we're going to look at the second question option now. The Dawes Plan, 1924, and the Young Plan, 1929. It's the same question, so you're choosing one and explaining how it helped Weimar Germany to recover in the 1920s. This question asks you about 2 different plans, so you need to write about both plans. The sample answer for target grade A, B or C. We've got 2 clear paragraphs here. The first one tells us about the Dawes Plan, the second one about the Young Plan. The first paragraph says, the Dawes Plan helped Germany to recover because it lent them money. American bankers tried to help Germany to recover from hyperinflation. The Dawes Plan lent 800 million marks to Germany and set a level of reparations payment based on what Germany could afford to pay. This helped Germany to recover because its industry was able to begin production again and make money for the country. It also showed that other countries were beginning to cooperate with Weimar Germany. We've got a clear point at the start of the paragraph here. They've given us detailed evidence to support their point, so that shows good knowledge. And their analysis is focused on the question. It's explaining how the Dawes Plan helped Germany to recover. They then go on to give us a second paragraph about the Young Plan. It says, the Young Plan helped Germany to recover because it reduced the amount of reparations they had to pay. In 1929, the Young Plan cut the amount that Germany owed and increased the time they had to pay it. The plan also loaned more money to Germany. This helped Germany to recover because it meant that Germany was more able to pay reparations and therefore reduce the risk of France re-invading the Ruhr. It also helped to stabilise the economy and create more support for the Weimar government. Again, we've got clear point, evidence and analysis there. Focused on the question. The second paragraph shows good evidence, good knowledge. They've written about both the plans they've been asked about and their answers focused on the question. Therefore, it would be a 9 out of 9 mark answer. Have a look at your own answer. Have you received 9 out of 9 marks? If you have, highlight what you've done well. If you haven't received 9 out of 9 marks, you also need to highlight what you need to do to improve in the future. Have you given 2 paragraphs? Is your evidence specific and detailed? Is your analysis focused on the question, explaining how the 2 plans help Germany to recover? Think about your knowledge in this area. Is what you've written accurate? Are you confident in your understanding of how Germany's economy recovered from hyperinflation? If not, then you need to highlight this as an area to focus on in your revision. This is the D, E and F target grade answer. This candidate has written, after hyperinflation started in 1923, Stresemann tried to find different ways to recover the economy. One way that he used was to make agreements with other countries. The Treaty of Versailles had set reparations at a very high level, and Germany could not afford it. The Dawes Plan and the Young Plan reduced the amount that Germany had to pay and gave them more time to pay it. The plans also lent them money to be able to get workers back to work and start making things in factories again. Because of this, the country had more money and more people supported the Weimar government again. This candidate has told us the story of reparations and what the 2 plans were. So they show they've got knowledge. It shows how the 2 plans helped Germany to recover, which is focused on the question. Being able to describe the problems of reparations payments and what the Dawes and the Young Plan did to help Germany recover shows they've got good knowledge in this area, and so this answer will probably receive about 5 out of 9 marks in the exam. Have a look at your own answer. Have you shown good knowledge of reparations and the Dawes and Young plans? Have you been able to describe them in detail? Highlight what you've done well and what you need to do to improve. Set yourself a target for next time. Think about your knowledge in this area. Do you need to prioritise the recovery from the economic crisis in 1923 as an area for your revision? That's the end of the presentation on questions 1 and 2. For the rest of the questions, you need to watch the different videos on the website.